Welcome to the month of magic brought to you by Delpod Original Podcasts. Please do enjoy and please don't forget to share, subscribe and like. And as always, please feel free to leave a comment. Also remember that donations by means of Zapper is what makes every podcast possible, so please consider making a donation in order to improve this channel. Without your help this would not be possible.
Mr. Brendon Peel, how are you, sir?
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I'm very good. And yourself?
Always well, always well. No point in complaining, eh?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So where do you find yourself currently?
Yeah, I'm actually currently up in Joburg right now.
Okay.
But I am dashing around across SA because shows are starting to pick up and happen again. So yeah, I'm all over, but right now, as I'm sitting in Joburg, yeah.
Josie, Igoli. Yeah, talking about Igoli. I've got a few surprises coming up in December about Igoli. It's probably a bit before your time, I would assume.
Oh, at the show?
Yeah.
No, man. I mean, I was young when it came out, but used to be there on Mnet. I remember it. I never really watched much. I've never really watched many soapies. The only soapy I kind of ever used to watch was actually Days of Our Lives.
Oh my God.
That was about it. I was never really into Bold and Beautiful and I guess I watched like a little bit of like Backstage and of course everyone's watched a little bit of Sever de Laan as well. I used to watch that just to brush up on my Afrikaans before like Afrikaans tests and exams.
Just not from Obas, because you're never going to be able to talk or speak that kind of Afrikaans.
Yeah, exactly right.
It was hectic. Yeah, Severland wasn't too bad, but they lost some very good actors there. And Igole was at least one of those ones, and we're going to get back to magic now, but Igole was at least one of those, they were always relevant. You know, if we played rugby, World Cup rugby, for example, or, anything. I'm just taking rugby as an example. And we'd win the World Cup in Australia, say last night. It would be airing tonight and they would be talking about we winning the World Cup. So that was like weird. Yeah. That was like weird. It's like, how the hell do you know that? I mean, these things
Maybe they were predicting.
No. I spoke to, people are going to see it come out anyway, but I spoke to Frans Kalp. He was the story writer of Igoli, or one of the story writers. And he explained to me what they did is you've got your A, B, and C scenes, right? So pretty much you intro, your interval, and then your outro or exiting piece or part. So what they used to do is back then, obviously it's either on a stiffy or a floppy. And then
they used to play the one that used to come out with.
Exactly. So what they did is if there was a major event happening, they'd get whichever actors were available or on set for that day and quickly record that little piece there. We won the World Cup, or Madiba passed away, or and then they would edit that. They would edit that in, and then first get it back from Mnet, and then add that section in there, and then rush it back to Mnet, and then play that.
They actually had to do that on a lot of media coverage places in America. They actually had to do that because everyone pre-recorded saying that Hillary Clinton was the president, and then obviously in 2016, Trump actually obviously won, and they had to quickly scramble last minute to like put together a lot of different networks. I can't remember which ones now, but I do know that
it's probably Fox.
You can probably Google it and find out. But it's a similar kind of situation there.
Yeah, Fox and CNN, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
those are the two, especially CNN. You need to watch them very carefully. So it's like Joe Rogan taking horse ivermectin.
Oh,
I
wow.
don't know if you heard that BS.
No,
Guy
I mean,
went to a doctor. He got a prescription for it. He's got the box. He's like, man, I've got enough money to buy human shit. So, you
Yeah.
know, but yeah, they grabbing onto strings. It's sensationalism. That's all it is.
yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
so yeah. Okay. So back to Brendon Peel. What made you decide to go into magic? Why not just get a real job with a fixed income?
That's a fair question, you know. So basically my kind of journey in this whole thing was, it just started off as a hobby. And when I was very young, and I just enjoyed performing. And then there came a time in like high school where a lot of my kind of friends and compadres in the grade were getting, you know, like little part-time jobs and stuff like that. So, you know, kind of my parents were also like, hey, why don't you consider getting like a little part-time job, like, you know, make some pocket money, nothing crazy, just on weekends, whatever. And I just thought like, okay, what can I do? I mean, I've already been doing magic at this stage. So yeah, I ended up organizing kind of a bit of a, I guess I had to do a little demonstration for like these guys. I'm from PE originally as well.
Yes.
And there's a spur in PE, the Silver Cloud Spur.
Oh, Newton Park, yeah.
Yeah, Newton Park. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where we actually kind of are family friends with the owners of that spur.
Okay.
Like our family and the family that owns the spur. And yeah, basically kind of, they did say like, okay, cool, kind of like maybe come and show the management, like make sure that I'm not just some like, I don't know, random, because even though they knew me, it was like, we need to make sure that you can still do some tricks. So I went and did some, and they were like, whoa, that was like insane. So come through, and that was like my, they basically said like, cool, they'll pay me with burgers, and I can walk around from table to table with a cup and basically earn tips. And that's what I did. That was the first way the first kind of money I made doing magic was doing that. I don't actually know how it's going to work, or if it would work now, because everyone only ever carries cards with them usually. But back then in like 07, 08, I think it was, you know, people often would have like little 5 Rand, 10 Rand, you know, some guy, I had a couple of people actually give me like 200 Rand, like right then and there. Yeah, which that's when I kind of knew like, holy cow.
Yeah.
You know, there's something like, this is like, I was just doing it for fun, but then people were also tipping me quite decently.
Yeah.
And then I had, you know, pocket money. I saved up a lot of pocket money and went and like bought like magic props, because my first kind of things I did were just like card tricks. And basically just things with the forks. I was bending forks in that restaurant and stuff like that.
Yeah, like
just stuff that was
table hopping stuff.
Table hopping magic. But then I wanted to buy props and also put on a stage show. And I basically just raised money doing this walk around magic. And eventually it eventually just happened where I ended up doing a stage show when I was 18 at the Grahamstown National Arts Festival. That was the very first time.
Yeah, I've actually been there plenty of times when you performed, with Mark.
Okay.
Mark.
Okay, nice. Oh, Mark Rose Christie, he's a legend. Actually, he helped me out in the beginning there as well. He did help me. So shout out to him. He's a very helpful guy. As I like to think most magicians are quite helpful as well.
Yes, yeah.
But you know, so basically I started, that was where I did my first like stage show. And I just kind of continuously just reinvested whatever tickets I was selling and money I was making from the previous festival, I would just put into doing the next festival. So, and then I could market more and get more sales. And it just kind of grew like that. I mean, I also did go to university and all that in between, and obviously finished school and stuff like that. It's not like I dropped out to be a magician.
It's your biggest backup that you can have, is at least some education. And I'm not talking about school. I'm referring to either certificate, diploma, degree, So something at least.
Yeah, whatever you can get. I mean, that's why I've always pushed and did that as well. I mean, on the side. But it just so happens then, I just started doing more and more shows. People liked what I was doing and they started booking me for more stuff. So it wasn't like I just woke up one day and was like, cool, I'm going to be a professional magician.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that I'm doing. It never happened like that. It just so happened that once I did finish my postgrad, 2016 at Rhodes University, I was like, cool. Okay, let me go out and like find a job. But then I was like, so basically let's call it 2017. But then it just so happened that it was like, oh no, I can't find a job now because I have like 10 shows lined up this month.
Yeah,
then I'm
that's
going
awesome.
to Durban and Cape Town and doing. So it was like, it just kept being put off the whole finding a job thing because I just kept having shows.
Yeah, and you were kept busy. So I mean, then why on earth?
Yeah.
It's going to sound
exactly.
a bit weird, but
I mean, and then COVID did hit, which changed a few things. But luckily, I had a few opportunities and things coming through during the time of COVID that kind of kept me going in the entertainment world. But like, for example, in 2019, I mean, I did 150 shows slash or performances as well, sometimes more than one a day.
Yeah, clearly.
So yeah, like I don't know how many other magicians do 150 shows slash performances.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I know it was a lot, and now things are picking up again, which is a blessing.
I think it is a blessing. Absolutely. Yeah, no, for sure. Because I mean, COVID sank it. It sank it completely. I mean,
no, it was hectic, man. I mean, there was just a lot of or should I say no entertainment whatsoever that was happening for the kind of for like a whole year. So there were some things in between, like I said, that kind of picked up and happened, and then life stopped happening. And as well, I went to the virtual train as well. I was doing virtual shows, but also not all companies are fond of the virtual thing. It's like just doing virtual.
Yeah, it's still a new thing. That's why people are
still a new thing. But more companies now are picking up on it. I'm actually doing quite a few more virtual things for the rest of the year as well, which is great. So, and ultimately you can do those shows just literally just kind of from your living room. If you have the right setup.
Yeah, no, that's the lucky part. Yeah, no traveling.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but I personally prefer the traveling and the live shows. But nice, I that's just my vibe. I like live stage shows.
Yes, yeah, it's the same with going to gym. I mean, you can gym by yourself, or you can, that whatever you call it. That we can feel the enthusiasm. Everyone's there for the same thing. So. I hear what you're saying. The other people around you kind of drive you. It's and feeding off it. The sound's different, the atmosphere is different, the air in the room is different. It makes a huge difference, enormous difference. So and I don't know what's your opinion about which one do you prefer? Obviously the personal shows, the in-person shows, not the virtual.
These days, I mean, my favorite thing to do is stage mentalism and psychological illusion shows, maybe with a little touch of like traditional magic. But those stage shows are my main my favorite thing to do is a live stage show. That's my favorite thing to perform. I mean, I do also enjoy doing like parlor shows where you kind of just stand and everyone kind of watches. It's not like a formal stage, but it's like a mini stage show. Those ones are also quite fun. The walk around magic I still do, because people do still phone you up and ask for a walk around magician or me to do some walk around. But I tend to, especially these days, I tend to do a lot more stage stuff, and I prefer the stage stuff anyway. But not to say I don't like roaming magic. It's just stage for me is better. And then the virtual stuff, I mean, I have actually had fun doing virtual. And it's also, what I've actually enjoyed about the virtual shows is that you as like a kind of magician have to sit back and think like, okay, how can I make an hour-long show entertaining for people without them being physically there? So that challenge that was posed is quite an interesting one, and I like puzzles and problems. And well, I don't like problems.
I can,
like problems.
I'll be more than willing to give you my problems. Then you can deal with that.
No, 100%. But I like problem solving and creative thinking like that. So that part of it was actually, it has been quite fun, and it's still an ongoing journey in terms of the whole virtual things, because I do think that virtual performances are going to still be around for a while. I think a lot of people are opting for kind of this whole virtual connection that we have, as opposed to
And as a human being, we are lazy. We're not necessarily lazy, but you do try and find the more the easier way. So it's going to take off. It's certainly going to take off.
I mean, it really has, and I think it's still going to grow, and I think it's still going to be around for a while. But also definitely there are going to be live things again, and I mean, like I said, I prefer the live thing. Like, I just prefer even watching other entertainers. I prefer doing it live because you're in that atmosphere. You can watch a brilliant comedian do his thing on Zoom where you're with 100 people on a Zoom call, but it's not the same as if you're watching a comedian with 100 people next to you in a room. Just it's like an electric atmosphere and things like that.
Exactly, the feeling's different. Yeah.
But I mean, either way, I'm happy with everything, how things how things are currently starting to become again. I'm happy where we are. I'm happy that shows are booking out, and and this is across the board, internationally and nationally. We're starting to do more shows, and that's a blessing. So that's a win in my book.
Sure. Cool. And what year did you start magic, sir?
Sure. I mean, I learned my first tricks maybe when I was like, when did I learn my first tricks? Like early 2000s, I don't know, like 2001, 2002. And then I kind of walked away from it for a little bit. And I would say I really, really got interested in it again, maybe around 06, 07. Probably 2006, 2007, I really started getting kind of really, really into it. And that's when I've just kind of been into it since. One of a couple main influences, at least for me, is like David Blaine and Darren Brown. So mainly Darren Brown. When basically I read Darren Brown's book, I was like, I cannot believe that like it is possible for a normal human being that I consider myself normal sometimes, but no, I was mind blown that it's like a normal human being can possibly do what he's doing. So that was one of the main things, is I wanted to basically emulate and do what Darren Brown was doing. That's kind of how it all started.
That guy is a god when it comes to I want to phrase it now so I don't give it away. With obviously body language, I think everyone knows that part, but subliminal. Let's just use the word subliminal. It's amazing. He studied the human mind to such an extent that it's hard to believe that one person is capable of doing so much. So,
that's why, especially when I was younger, I was like, this guy is like probably from Mars or something like that. But and obviously, he has pushed the boundaries of what is possible in the art of magic and illusion and mentalism, because he does bring these genuinely real elements of body language and kind of everything else, suggestion, psychology, misdirection, showmanship, and also obviously, like you say, some subliminal kind of situations. He's brought this realism and real kind of things, techniques and cold reading and stuff like that, and he's added it into traditional psychological kind of illusions and mentalism. And he's a master of his art, and that's why he is yeah, he's my number one. Like,
Okay, well,
yeah.
that was one of the
Darren-
questions. Name 2 or 3
Yeah.
of your favorite magicians.
Oh,
apart
100%. I mean, Darren Brown is 100% number one. I mean, if he phoned me right now and said, "Come, let's do like a show," I would be on the plane right now. Man.
Yeah,
Like, for real.
yesterday. Yeah. And
Yeah, exactly. I would
any other magicians? David
Yeah,
Blaine,
like,
obviously. Yeah.
David Blaine, 100%, because David Blaine, he also had even though he was doing more visual magic, he also brought kind of pieces of realism into his art. And I think that's what I quite like is in magic is kind of blurring that line between what's real and what's not. And with David Blaine, you know, he's doing like these insane stunts where you're like, you know, but then you see him do a card trick and then you see him do an insane stunt. So now all of a sudden it's like, what's real? Is it real? Is it an illusion? Like, we don't actually kind of, and I like that. So I always enjoyed his work and his street magic as well.
Yeah,
he's the first guy that really got me into street magic.
Yeah.
And he's the reason why, I bought my first kind of, I suppose, magic kit type of deal, was because of me wanting to kind of do the same as what David Blaine was doing on TV in the early 2000s. I suppose he was on the late 90s as well.
I wanted to say, it would have been probably, I'm taking a guess now, but probably 2003 to 5, something in that region. Because I know I've definitely been in magic for quite a while back then, but just, you know, hustling around, nothing major. And then the street magic thing boomed. He certainly put it back on the map, or whatever.
Some of the other guys, you know, that I definitely followed. I know a lot of magicians don't really like this guy, but Chris Angel. I have big respect for Chris Angel. You know, he also for basically making magic kind of cool, which David Blaine was already doing. So you know, if after David Blaine and kind of in the timeline of TV magicians, you're looking at Chris Angel, and also he had like a unique style, you know, you could see that, like, and a lot of what he came up with as well, he always kind of put his little twists into it.
It was called Mind Freak, I think, eh?
Yeah, Mind Freak, So Mind Freak, I mean, I used to watch that all the time. Also, obviously, with David Blaine, I've watched everything with David Blaine, everything Chris Angel, everything Darren Brown, 5 times in a row. Those are kind of the TV guys. And I would follow, obviously, things like Penn and Teller. That was later on, in kind of when I was already full swing of magic. Obviously, I'd watch pretty much any episode of like like America's Got Talent or Britain's Got Talent.
Xin
Lin.
magician.
Shinlin was also, he was a bit later on, but I suppose informative.
Absolutely.
But I know, like,
top notch.
I was following all these kind of guys online soon as I could have, soon as I was kind of on Facebook. I mean, I was already following a lot of the magicians, stage guys, like, you know, obviously Penn and Teller and stuff like that, and obviously you know, guys like David Copperfield and you know, all the legends. I mean, David Copperfield's obviously an absolute legend.
He's in a world of his first billionaire, self-made billionaire magician, by the way. Eh? So got a few islands there, beautiful wife, man.
Oh yeah, no, he's living his best life.
Life is magic, man. Life is magic.
And also another guy actually I really tip my hat to is Uri Geller. Uri Geller is also a legend.
Why, if you don't mind me asking? Sorry, I need to barge in there. But why? How come?
Because there's also another one as well that actually definitely have maximum respect for. But Uri Geller, you know, magicians and people that do magic are often kind of selling themselves that what they're doing is real. Now, by that definition, Uri Geller is one of the best magicians of all time, because he literally fooled the entire world to believe that what he was doing was real. Did he carry on and go a bit overboard in his own head and stuff like that? And really, sometimes you kind of, when you hear him in some interviews, it seems that he even believes it. But it's all an act. You know, it's all an act.
No, for sure.
But by that definition, he is one of the greatest magic performers of all time. A lot of guys would argue that because they might say, oh, but he was also doing some of what he was doing was like very simple in comparison to some other magicians at the time. But it's not about what he really did. It's about how he sold it to the world. Yeah. Another guy who also did the same, and I'm sure you may know him. His name's Banachek.
Oh, Steve. Yeah, Stephen Shaw. Yeah.
Stephen Shaw. Did you know?
He might even come onto the show, by the way. He's got a show now in Las Vegas, I think.
Yeah. Called Mind Games, which actually was the name of my first show in 2011.
Yeah, well,
tell him that. But
old thumbs, but he might be coming on. So because he was born in South Africa, so
yeah, he lived in Kabiga in Port Elizabeth.
Yeah,
he lived in Kabiga for I think it was like 10 to 12 years.
Yeah.
I have connected with him because I was like, South African mentalist. I really he's a guy I only really found out about kind of after Darren Brown and David Blaine, because he's not like a kind of your standard pop culture superstar, but amongst magicians, obviously he is. And once you get to know about him and his work and how much of a genius he is, magically speaking, he also fooled scientists into people into believing what he was doing was real. He then just came clean about it though afterwards.
Yeah.
But he is an absolute legend. So in that regard, I totally look up to Banachek like you won't believe.
Oh, for sure.
Because he is a guy. He's a mentalist, one of the best in the entire world, and he's from PE. Or he lived in PE for quite some time, and that's exactly where I'm from. So it's like,
it's
quite cool.
It's an honor to be associated or say,
it's like
he's from my hometown. So
PE mentalists at the same time, and it's just so crazy. It's just so crazy to think. So I really do look up to him and respect him, and he's an amazing performer as well and a genius.
Yeah. Now I'm glad you sort of. We discussed the other side of Uri Geller now, because I know with the late James Randi, those two guys have fights. Listen,
I mean, that's the whole thing, is
arch enemies.
And honestly, they probably, both of their careers probably wouldn't have been as big if it wasn't for the other one. It's like the classic. There was two classic magicians in the UK that basically had a rivalry. It's actually what The Prestige is based on. And anyway, the movie The Prestige. But anyway, but basically, I'm of the opinion that, I don't think James Randi would have been as well known as he was if it wasn't for Uri Geller, but vice versa. That's just my opinion as well. Just because they were arch nemesis and they were, always at each other's kind of.
Maybe best buddies, but hey, let's go and act outside. It seems to work for us.
Who knows? So, maybe they were the best of friends, And obviously, James Randi, he passed away. I think it was either this year or last year.
It's end of last year. I
think, RIP to him. And I don't think, as far as I know, I don't think he hated Uri Geller. I don't know. I can't speak for him, but I don't think he hated him. But I just think he didn't like the way Uri Geller went about, making it seem as if it's all real.
Yeah,
which is fair enough.
Yeah, it's fair enough. But like you said, I mean, give the guy a fair shot now, because you're an actor. You're not a magician. You're an actor. David Peel is an actor portraying the role of a magician. That's what we are, actors, are we not?
That's actually Robert Jean Houdin. That's a famous line from Robert Jean Houdin.
I didn't even know that.
He's one of the most famous illusionists of all time. He's actually the guy that Houdini took his name from Houdin, because Houdin is spelled Houdin.
I know that.
But anyway, so that's one of his quotes: "Is a magician is actually an actor playing the role of a magician."
Okay. I never knew it.
That's literally a famous quote.
Yeah, I know.
Go check that out as well.
Roberto Dan actually got the, for those of the listeners that don't know this, he actually managed to stop a war between the native Indians and
Yeah.
well, the
Yeah,
French.
I think
I
it
would
was in
assume.
Algeria, but anyway, yeah,
So
I know you
somewhere,
were,
yeah, with that
but
case that you can't.
that was one of
Or,
the first books I also read was about him and his escapades. Although I did actually recently meet a magician. Now I was doing a TV show in Europe, and I met a guy who is from France as well, which is where Robert Jean Houdin is from. And he actually says, yeah, like actually there's information. I have to still go look into this, but yeah, he was saying that there's a lot of information coming out that actually discredits Robert Jean Houdin, and all his stories are just fabricated. So I'll go ahead and look at that. But this guy is a well-respected, very well-respected, connected to a lot of well-respected magicians in France. So I'll have to go and look, man.
yeah, well, we're gonna have to go and
didn't
look
have
then,
good things
but,
to say about him.
yeah, but the
But
thing
as
is
a
also now
storyteller
300
and as
years
a myth-
later, 300
Yeah,
years
but
later.
it's the same thing, you know.
Yeah.
It is the same thing with the Uri Geller story, because
Yeah.
now Robert Jean Houdin can, he's the one on a lot of history books. Maybe he was
Exactly.
just a fantastic storyteller,
Yeah,
much
salesman.
like Uri Geller.
Yeah,
So there's a fine line between like totally fake
Yeah.
and totally real as well. So and I think at the end of the day, magicians, like you say, we all we all playing some kind of role.
yeah,
We
Yeah.
all kind of playing we're acting.
yeah,
When I make a coin disappear, how many people genuinely think the coin has dematerialized? But I'm still making it seem like it genuinely has.
make it believable.
And
Yeah.
in that moment, I am ultimately lying to you by telling you, oh, this coin is now dematerialized in my hand,
Yeah,
or whatever the case is. So that's why I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, if we are magicians, we can't really point
Yeah.
a finger at other magicians
exactly. Yeah.
too much, at least. I mean, I really disagree with the whole things like mediums and talking to the dead and stuff like that.
I was
That's
going
something
to.
I totally disagree with.
I was going to sort of just touch on it. Wasn't really going to
Yeah.
ask you anything about it, but you're going to know exactly who I'm referring to. I'm not going to mention names because he's not even. I've got nothing
Yeah.
against the guy, but excellent, in my opinion, one of the best magicians in South Africa. But then he started with this nonsense of, clairvoyancy, can speak to the
Yeah.
dead, and then I mean, people pay for that show. You give people false hope.
Yeah.
You know who I'm referring to. Dude's also living in Cape Town, so.
Yeah.
And the
I
sad
know
part
you.
is, Jacques Lejeune was the guy that also helped him a hell of a lot. And I don't want to say too much, but it just seems like he turned his back on
Yeah.
Jacques now. So doesn't seem
Look,
like
I don't know
there's-
too much. I
Yeah,
don't know too much about that and stuff. But I mean, any magician, if you are a magician and you're claiming that you can speak to dead people for real, that is obviously wrong.
Yeah.
No one in this universe, as far as I know, can speak or connect with the dead like that. If they create the illusion of being able to do so, that is exactly what it is, a very clever illusion.
That'll be fine if it's an illusion, but he goes out so far as to make it that, listen, this is a fact. I can do this.
Yeah. I mean, you have plenty of these guys. I mean, basically a lot of the mediums, TV mediums in America, Edwards is the one.
Yeah, John crossing over with John Edwards, but I mean,
John Edwards.
He calls himself a
just
medium, so.
No, but he's a magician. He is a magician.
Yeah,
he does magic, mentalism techniques.
Yeah, for
he
sure.
just will never call himself a magician.
Yeah, no.
But I'm just using him as an example. But like, there's plenty of those types of guys out there. There's a couple other on different TV networks from America, from England, from I think even Australia. There's a few, and the thing is, people obviously buy into it because they want to connect with.
They're desperate. That's sad part.
And yeah, that's basically the bottom line there. But at the end of the day, what those people are doing are techniques that magicians and mentalists do. you know.
Yeah.
There's definitely no such thing as real psychic abilities. If there was, my job would be a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure.
And there would be a lot more lotto winners in the world.
Oh, of course, of
Every
course.
single second person. So I could be the next James Randi of South Africa by saying, if anyone wants to prove their kind of psychic auras and give me the lotto number, I'm happy to give you R1 million. If I win the lotto, I'll give you R1 million for sure.
I have
I'll just
predicted.
walk away with the other 100 million.
I have predicted the lotto before, and obviously, needless to say, I was right. But then people would ask me, "Well, so where's the money?" Like, well, I didn't play. So, well, if you knew the numbers, why didn't you play?
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's if you genuinely could, and you genuinely claim these things. I actually do a lotto prediction in a lot of my shows, but I literally, even one of the things I say in my shows is, because basically being a mentalist and doing predictions of the future and stuff, I say, being a mentalist, people often have similar questions for me. One of them being, can you predict the lottery? And I literally say to them, now you all came through the door here, you walked through the parking lot. Did any of you guys see that purple Lamborghini parked outside? Right? And everyone's like, no. And I'll be like, no, of course, because if I could predict the lottery, there'd be a purple Lamborghini out there. But what's interesting enough, and I do say this in all my shows as well, is even if I could genuinely predict the lottery, I would still be there performing for everyone, because magic for me is a passion, and it's something I enjoy and love doing, is entertaining. So I literally say that in the show, and I say I'll still be here performing for you all. The only difference that would be is the Lamborghini outside. That's it, if I could predict the lottery. But of course I cannot, because no one can genuinely predict the lottery. Well, you can, but you have a 1 in like 500 million shot to predict it.
Yeah,
that's
and that's sure. Listen, can you remember what the magic tricks that you do? I know you've got the Rubik's Cube that stands out for me personally. But what's your favorite? Give me two. Maybe two as an example.
Kind of like, it's one of those kind of age-old things of, picking your favorite child or something like that. Some people might be able to do it very easily. I would say I have a few favorites. I wouldn't say there's one standalone. I guess what I'm most kind of recognized for is doing stuff with Rubik's Cubes. That's literally because of the Britain's Got Talent video that has like 25 million views of me solving Rubik's Cubes, basically. That's the bottom line. So people can remember me with Rubik's Cubes, and there's a crossbow involved and all that stuff. But in terms of just like my standard shows, I do enjoy doing Rubik's Cube work. I like anything that has like a kind of rational explanation, like a prediction that has a rational explanation. So for example, I do one thing where I actually predict 3 different people in a row thinking of a 1-digit number. And I kind of go into that by saying, different people do select different numbers. There's also what's called psychologically potent numbers. So like the number 7, if I ask most people in the room, think of a 1-digit number, immediately most people, or not most, but a lot of people tend to go for 7.
Yeah, it's a good luck number.
If you didn't go for 7, you probably might go for a lucky number, maybe your birth date and stuff like that. And basically that power of deduction, I can kind of figure out what each kind of person is kind of thinking. And or at least create the illusion of that, and as that kind of real explanation. But I do enjoy those little predictions of the future, basically, that are like kind of tangible and based in the.
You back? Nope, not yet. Right. Yeah. Next question. I do ask this to everyone. In your opinion, what is magic? Do you see magic as science, trickery, or reality? We all know it's trickery, but do you see the other parts also fitting in there, or do you think it's completely different? What's your view on that question?
You know, basically, for me, magic is ultimately it's basically like a puzzle, or it's an illusion, you know. It's suspending reality. I mean, it's hard to like put everything here just in like a couple words, but basically I feel like, and I mentioned the coin earlier, where like, you know, you can take the coin, put it in your hand, make it vanish, right? I feel like most people, most audiences watching that don't genuinely think the coin is dematerializing. I just don't believe most people think that.
No, for
you
sure.
know, I think most people would think, okay, they don't know where the hell the coin went, or what happened to the coin, but and it almost suspends your kind of reality, because it's like, but how was it possible then, you know? And makes you kind of start thinking about like, how is that even possible? And that kind of mind-blowing. See, for me, I prefer it when people do know, okay, cool. Because if people could genuinely make coins just dematerialize in their hands, and I came and showed you, okay, the coins dematerialize in my hands, they would just say, oh, okay, cool, you're one of the magicians that can genuinely do that in the world. Like, you know, that it would become more of a normal thing. Whereas if you take a coin and it seemingly vanishes, but you know it can't possibly really, you know, dematerialize, then all of a sudden you're going to kind of be like, but how, you know, like you're really going to start, your brain is going to start spinning even more, because you know the laws of reality don't allow for things like that to happen. And that's the type of magic that I enjoy, and I enjoy performing. Is the ones of that's why I really like the mentalism side, because basically I can do things that does kind of walk the line between what's real and what's
fact or fiction. That's what I also like. It's like, if you're like borderline, it's like, shit, well, I can't, well, I mean, I have to believe this, but also I know it can't possibly be true. So that is what the magic part's all about. Is like, I know this isn't magic, but then your job is to obviously be one or two steps.
You got to sell it like it almost is, you know, and that's what, like I say, especially in the mentalism department, because in the mentalism department as well, or the category of mentalism and magic, which is magic of the mind, of course, there is a lot more unknown gray areas in that kind of field. Because I do things with memorization, and kind of displays of insane memory. And, you know, sometimes there's a little bit of trickery. Sometimes I've genuinely memorized, like I've memorized books and numbers and sequences. I've just genuinely done it. But it's seemingly so impossible. And if you merge those two, like trickery and actual genuine memorization techniques and work, all of a sudden you can actually create an effect of some kind that is way more kind of powerful than just the trick type of deal, or just the memorization. So that's what I really enjoy. I mean, there's a lot of things like that with cold reading, or with body language reading as well. It goes hand in hand, you know, with body language reading plus some other kind of I suppose trickery or illusion kind of elements. You can actually put those two genuine things together and make something that, even if you know some tricks, and you know even some mentalism kind of tricks, there's no ways you're going to know how that kind of happened. So that's what I really that's what gets me going in this whole kind of department.
Have you ever read up on NLP, neuro-linguistic programming?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I do incorporate that into some of the shows.
Okay, no, that was because you need to. I mean,
very much
if you don't, you need to, because I mean that is you'll be a Darren Brown very soon. So.
I do NLP in the shows. I do suggestion, hypnosis, mentalism, predictions of the future, seemingly mind reading, body language reading. I do all of that combined in the show, obviously with elements of illusion in between, and that's what I do. And
did you mention CBT as well?
No.
Oh, okay. No, I thought you said CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, where you can also.
No. But I mean, that. Sorry, I thought you said CPT for a second there.
Nah.
No, but that kind of knowledge goes hand in hand. I mean, I did study psychology for a bit at university level and things, so that really also comes in handy.
Yeah, of course.
But I would say the number one way I've actually learned how to read people is just by actually performing magic, especially walk around magic. You get to meet so many different kind of personality types, so many different type of people. All of a sudden, you noticed all this personality type or people similar in the category. When you ask them to think of an animal, chances are they think of more like a stronger, like a lion or a bear or something. So you can kind of focus it down. And, you look at the different demographics of, people, where they're from, even what language they are, what religion.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that are seemingly, not important. Well, when I say seemingly not important, like some people think, oh, I'm just, even just the color of your shirt, what colors you wear on average, kind of says a lot about you and how you are and how you behave in society.
Yeah.
So those types of things as well are very interesting for me. And those are things I genuinely incorporate into the shows and add elements of genuine realism, especially with the mentalism side.
Yeah. Sorry, just had to mute there. Right. So before we go to the next one, you say that you are a mentalist or you do mentalism. Now, I asked you last night if you can. Well, I don't care how, but I'm sort of jailed on Gmail for the next, well, there's probably a couple of hours left. Would you mind sharing? You said, no, you aren't, you can't help me. So what's up with that? What's up with that, man?
No, it kind of goes into the whole, conversation we were having earlier about like James Randi and Uri Geller and people kind of, claiming what they're doing is real and stuff. Is I've always maintained, because I have had, actually, interesting enough, I had SAPs contact me. This is genuinely true now.
No.
I have been in contact with SAPs where they wanted my assistance in body language reading. This is 100% true.
Oh, well.
The thing is, though, immediately what I said was no, because at the end of the day, what I do and everything I do is for entertainment purposes. It's just for entertainment, So, you can't come to me and ask me to genuinely, for example, give you the lotto numbers or fix your phone that is jipping out or something, or, magically give you the code to a Bitcoin account that you forgot about years ago or something like that. Because
not even a Gmail account.
Or Gmail. If any mentalist could seriously do this, or any performer, anyone, anywhere could genuinely do that, they would be doing it, and they wouldn't be performing at corporate events and on stage shows and stuff like that. They'd be going out making billions in the cryptocurrency market, hacking,
exactly.
Figuring out codes and all that stuff. That's the bottom line. You can't tell me that what you're doing is 100% real when you're performing randomly at a 50-seat venue, like down the road in PE or something, So 100%. Unfortunately, I wish I could help you, but unfortunately I can't, because I'm a mentalist, but I'm a mentalist for entertainment purposes. Everyone that comes to my shows will leave having a good time, leaving questioning reality to a degree. But also, I always like people to remember, or at least think about that, if I could genuinely predict the future, I mean, hell, if I could have predicted the future, I would have bought 100 Bitcoins.
Of course.
2000.
So
any mentalist that tells you what they're doing is real, ask them how many Bitcoins they have. And if they don't say at least 100 to 1,000, then they are not real.
No, for sure. So you can't predict the future. You can't fix my Gmail account.
Can. Actually, the thing is, though, you can't. So that's the thing. You can't predict certain things, which you can. And this is my favorite thing. The best way to predict the future is to create it.
Yeah.
That's it. So if you can create your own future, you can predict it. But can you predict random outcomes like Bitcoin? Or, well, some people did actually predict that cryptocurrency would have happened. But can you genuinely predict lotto numbers or, something completely random and arbitrary, what card someone's going to randomly pull out of a deck on the other side of the world?
But there
you can't do that.
There I can tell you, it's like AJ when, if you throw enough poo-poo against a wall, something's going to stick.
Yeah. No,
something's got to stick. So they'll notice that one's sticking.
Let me just tell you, there's quite a few people that have come to my shows. This is just on this kind of point, is there's a lot of people that have come to my shows that have left genuinely thinking that I can help in predicting kind of random outcomes of luck, like lotto and stuff like that. There are people that out there in the world that genuinely think that I can, even though in the show I actually say I can't. Yeah. Otherwise, where would the Lamborghini? The Lamborghini would be there if I could.
That's a sign of being a great performer, because you made it believable.
Yeah, I mean, but also I never leave them thinking like.
Yeah. Of course, you make a point of saying that.
At the end of the day, you're there to suspend your disbelief. Whenever you come to one of my shows,
yeah,
I'll
definitely come December.
Have fun.
You said you've got one December, right?
Yeah. I'm just confirmed. Yeah. Well, I have quite a few around in December, but in PE, I should be having one. I actually need to confirm it this week and start marketing it. And then we have very big run of shows at Sabaya Casino on I think the 28th to the 30th of December. So that's a big one. Okay. That's a very big venue, very big theater. I'm excited for that one. I'm obviously also excited. I love performing in PE as well. Yeah. I love performing in Derbs. Especially the Umhlanga side. So, I do a lot of shows in Derbs actually. Interesting enough, I do quite a few in Cape Town, and obviously quite a lot in Joburg as well. So those kind of major cities. But I always at least try and bring at least 1 or 2 shows per year to PE, because there's a lot of people that have watched me from the beginning, and they've kind of followed
never let them forget about you. You've got to stay relevant and at least appear once a year at the very least. Then.
Yeah, and as well, I don't want the OGs or the first kind of followers I ever had, which were all in PE, obviously, because where I'm from. I don't want them thinking, now he's doing other like international TV shows and
too big.
Huge shows in Sabaya like that. Now, Sabaya, sorry, I don't want them thinking that I'm forgetting about humble PE, but I will be doing a run of shows also at PMADS in PE. The Athenaeum is also what it's called. That will be in March 2022. That's already pretty much booked. That's going to be it's going to be my brand new show. I'm still working on it, but I'm booking out dates, and that will be basically touring around SA 2022. And all these other shows, corporate events and stuff are also happening. So thank you to everyone who's booked me and whatnot on all these departments of private shows, corporate shows, stage shows. Thank you to everyone's bought tickets and come to my shows and festivals and stuff.
Yeah, well, this is what the podcast is all about. I mean, share where you are.
At the end of the day, it's all the shows that I do, it's all about, I try and at least make it about them, where it's like they are kind of the stars of the show, and I try and get as many people involved in the show as possible, and obviously just have fun times. And I've been very blessed and honored with the support from different people from all walks of life across SA and the world. So I just want to say thank you very much to everyone who supported me 100%. Without you, I would not be anyway. So
and I will definitely post your links that you've shared with me already. I'll post them below the description.
You're more than welcome to do that. Please do. I mean, the more that those videos can get out there, the better.
And I will then definitely see you either in December or March. Last one.
And don't forget, I know I have your signature.
That's fine. We can talk off it.
You will be getting it. 100%.
You're putting yourself on the spot here, but I was more than prepared to wait to speak to you after the show.
No, but
Yeah.
no, 100%. It's just obviously every time I come down to PE, you know, it's in a
Yeah,
box.
it's
been in a
hectic,
box,
and it's hectic.
a
Everyone
box that
wants.
I don't even use. So it's not. It's actually a box I don't actually really go in. I know where it is. So I did actually see it like a couple months ago when I was in PE, and I thought, yes. And then, but it was the day I was leaving or something. So
Yeah,
it was just like, but 100%. Don't stress.
Yeah,
You
that's
will
cool.
get it. Okay.
Yeah. No, I understand. I mean, I can just imagine. Once you, I mean, I've also been away, and then we come back. It's just, or you go visit on holiday. Hey, don't forget to come and visit. Don't forget to come and visit.
You're not thinking.
It's like you need to be
Don't
all over.
stress. And maybe I'll add my signature on there as well. Who knows, man?
Yeah.
No, separate thing.
Last question. Well, two questions actually. How challenging is it to make a career in magic, especially during these times, COVID times? I know things are starting to improve, but we don't know yet what November can hold in for.
Yeah, man. Hopefully we do not go back to another level. I mean, I know. Obviously, as any entertainer will tell you, it's been very tough, been very hectic. You know, it's been very dismal in the times of lockdown, but there was still possibilities, and basically, if you could, all the performers that were, I suppose, dynamic in their way of going about performing and their way of kind of getting out there. You had to go virtual, you had to do this and that, you had to go online, you had to do TikTok and all that type of stuff. Or at least, you know, it was recommended to do all these things. And, you know, if you were on the ball and you did all that stuff, then, you know, things were not as great as before, but you could get by. Like I got by. I have not, you know, I'd have told people I've never had, in my life, I've never had a normal job. I've never had a genuine job. I've only ever been an entertainer of some degree. One time I was a bartender for one day.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was in 2012.
Also not my kind of thing.
Yeah. So I've been, you know, I'm being blessed that I started at a young age and I've just progressed.
Yeah.
And I was blessed with a few virtual things and also a TV show last year that kind of helped me glide through the year. And now things are picking up again. But yeah, it was obviously very, very hectic and tough. And it is very hectic and tough for a lot of entertainers out there in South Africa and the world.
Yeah, and the world.
But I mean, it's not impossible, you know, to do it though.
Yeah, I think COVID was, I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I'm saying it's a good thing in this regard, because if you didn't think out of the box or out the box, well, then you've got a problem. So
the only thing there was basically, the challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, having that challenge and overcoming and problem solving it.
Yeah,
that was I think all of us as a nation, as a world, you know, we've learned skills and things about ourselves that maybe we never knew about before.
Absolutely.
So in that way, you know, in that way, it was. Those are like, I don't know, like minor silver linings, I suppose.
Yeah.
Obviously, the global pandemic is not good. Obviously, it's terrible. You know, I know people that have passed away from it. Like, you know, family, friends, elders and stuff like that. So like, it's not, you know, it's not a good thing. But I suppose if you have to point out little silver linings, it is that we have kind of learned to.
It's always a silver lining.
And, you know, so and I'm a positive. I like to be a positive guy. Positive thinker and stuff. So
glass is half full, not half empty.
I try to be.
Yeah, well, we all try. Yeah, we don't always succeed, but at least we try and
you know,
we tell ourselves
sometimes.
Yeah.
But
so advice.
Pick up.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying things will hopefully pick up in terms of for everyone across the board as entertainers and for people in the service industry. I know quite a few, people in restaurants and stuff, and I'm glad. And very hopeful. I'm glad that things are starting to pick up for everyone, and I'm hopeful that they only start to, you know, grow and pick up more for everyone that I know, and even the people I don't know. No,
I'm exactly the same. It's like I help wherever I can. I don't care who I help, whether it's someone I know or not. I mean, someone else might watch this podcast and think it's a load of crap. Other one will listen and think, wow, okay, this is deep. You know, I'm not here to change the world. I'm here if it makes a difference in one person's life. Good.
Yeah.
So,
100%.
right. I think I asked what I wanted to ask. Since you can't help me with my Gmail.
I'll have to work on that. I'll work on that.
Yeah, I believe you've got one or two trickeries.
Okay, I'll tell you what though, because the sun has gone down. Let me just quickly turn on this light, okay, and then
how's it? Good.
Yeah, okay. So I should have actually done this a while ago, but anyway. Cool. So let's just try something then, a little bit experimental. I'm just going to show you one kind of quick thing, and for the viewers and listeners at home, I have a little notepad here and a pen. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down a bit of a prediction. All right, let's see what's in camera here. Yeah, in fact, actually I'll actually write it this side. Okay, I'm going to just write a bit of a prediction right now. Okay, this is me kind of doing things off the cuff here. Hopefully you're not seeing what I'm writing. I'm just writing a couple words, and yeah, hopefully you can't see what that says. I'll get rid of the pen and pad here, and I'm just going to stick this just over there. I don't know if you can still see it.
Yeah.
With the bright light. Hopefully it doesn't pop off. Yeah, hopefully that doesn't pop off, but it will be there kind of in full kind of view at all times as well. All right. So obviously, when you go and see some kind of magic illusion, we mainly spoke about mentalism, but mentalism is still ultimately magic. And when you're watching any type of magic, you usually see some kind of deck of cards, right? So this is exactly what this is. In fact, it's a specific type of deck of cards, and I'll show you why it's a bit different. But all these are completely different. You can trust me, I'm a magician, okay? On the back, totally, let me just rewrite the prediction here. Luckily that happened now. I'm not actually going to stick it on the wall. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm just going to write down our prediction. Usually when I do the virtual shows, of course, I have a table in front of me.
Yeah,
I'm just going to use this as a table.
Yeah,
there's the
perfect. Yeah, perfect. more visible as well. So
it's all about the live entertainment. So it's just, I wrote down something. So as you can see, obviously we have our cards over here, and on the back, each card is actually numbered. Hopefully you can see that. So that's 1, 2, 3. Can you see those numbers from there?
Yes.
Okay, you can see them comfortably. Obviously 52 cards in a deck. So now, usually with any type of card kind of effect, the magician would kind of spread out the cards and say, pick a card. But of course here, virtually on Zoom, we can't do that, right? So you're basically going to give me a number from 1 to 52, whichever one you like, and that will be our card that we're going to use. So go ahead, give me any number you like from 1 to 52.
33.
33, all right. So let's go ahead and find, and hopefully you can see this as well, 33 right over there, right? So that's number 33, of course, and that would be, just remember that card, the 5 of spades. Yeah, of course. If you went for 32, it would have been 4 of clubs. If you went for 34, it would have been 7 of diamonds, of course. In fact, like I actually showed you earlier, you could have literally gone, you could have got 5 of clubs there. If we picked a different number, 43, I think that was. But you said 33, right? And 33 free and fair was, of course, 5 of spades right over here. Now, I do indeed, I wrote down the prediction. Our first prediction fell down, but it's fine. The second one magically appeared over here now. And what I wrote down over here indeed says, hopefully you can read that, the 5
of spades. Damn. Okay.
5 of spades, which is exactly as you kind of freely thought.
Awesome.
So thank you for that.
Yeah, no, thanks. Okay, so apart from the shows in, just go through them again so people can just hear it again. Durban.
Yeah, so Durban's going to be at the Sabaya Casino. That will be the 28th, 29th, and 30th of December.
Okay.
The PE show date is still to be confirmed, but it should be around mid-December, just before Christmas, somewhere between the 16th of December and Christmas. It should be somewhere there. And then in PE at PMADS, that should be in March, that first weekend of the holidays. I think it's 25th to the 27th of March.
Okay.
And then there will be lots of other shows lined up and happening, as they always are. And yeah, I'm excited for a festive season filled with magic and illusion.
Yeah,
and
awesome. It's a magical time. It's
yeah,
excellent.
exactly right.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not going to hold you to it, but maybe as we near March or February, March, you said, we can quickly hook up again and just boost it from this side, because you're obviously on the other side, though.
Yeah,
And,
no, that would be great, man. I really would
yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah.
I mean, you know, if we can hop in again and
I'm here
have a
to
little
help.
mention again.
Yeah, here to help.
Yeah, that would,
doesn't
that would
cost
be
a
awesome,
cent.
man.
So, well, it doesn't cost you a
Yeah,
cent.
man. Hopefully, hopefully you find your Google credentials by then.
Yeah, I'll wait for March and I'll see how good of a magician you really are. I believe you. You've got it in you, man. You've got it in you. You just need to believe enough. Then I'm sure you can sort it out. I'm convinced.
Yeah, I need to still. Yeah, I'll have to read a few more books for that.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Mr. Brendon Peel, and yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
So
yeah,
I'll
it's good
touch
to
up with
catch
you.
and chat.
Always, man. Always. I'll touch up with you again somewhere in March, early March.
Sometime, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That'll be great, man. Thanks, man.
And we contact
Facebook.
we in contact through Facebook and all those.
Yeah,
others,
and just WhatsApp is a lot easier. But basically, yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I will connect with you in terms of the when I am down in PE.
Yeah.
I'll find out where you are around. Maybe we can meet up for a drink or something.
Yes,
like that.
absolutely. That'll be awesome.
Bring your package.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That'll be great, man.
Okay.
So go well, and
Okay.
thanks for having me on.
Thanks for being on. Okay. Cheers. Go well.
Cheers.
Cheers.